And this information comes from the back bottom of the first page. So the page that's your reference page, you have a chart on the back at the bottom of that page that has this information. So we're going to use this information in order to graph our horizontal and vertical lines. So looking at our first graph, we have y equals 2. Notice that in our reference sheet, we have y equals a number is a horizontal line. Now we're going to graph this by using, again, a method we already know, which is to make an XY chart. And just like before, we pick any values we want to for x. So let's just pick some random numbers. It doesn't really matter. Let's do -1, 0, and 1. But again, you could choose anything. You just want to make sure it fits on the graph. After you choose your x values, you're going to look at the function and the graph that you're given, the equation that you're given. So we're given y equals 2. So we have no x to plug in, and y in this problem will always equal 2. So no matter what x is, my y is 2. So let's put 2 here, here, and here. And again, we know these are ordered pairs. And we can graph over here these points. So we've got, starting at the origin, -1, 2. Back of the origin, the next point, 0, 2. And back at the origin, 1, 2. And when we connect those points, we see it makes a horizontal line. And so let's talk about this horizontal line for a minute. This is horizontal if I have the equation y equals some number. And a little trick that I use with this is if I look at h and I flip it upside down, it looks sort of like a y. It's not a perfect match, but it's a trick that you can use to think about if I have y, I flip it, I get an h for horizontal. Okay? The other thing is we want to look at the slope of this line. So a lot of times I think of slope as if I'm walking on a hill. Am I walking up a hill? That's a positive slope. Am I walking down a hill? That's a negative slope. But if I was to walk on this type of hill, well, there's no hill there. It's just a straight line, straight across. So I have no slope, or in this case, I can say this as the slope, which we use as m, is 0. So basically I have like no resistance. So I just have 0 slope there. Okay? All right, looking at our next one. We probably can tell already this is going to be a vertical line. Again, if it's y equals, it's horizontal. So if it's x equal, this will be vertical. Now, setting up this XY chart is a little different. This is a special case. This is the only time that you do not get to choose whatever you want for x. However, we are going to get to choose whatever we want to for y. So let me choose some numbers here. Again, it doesn't matter, but we do need to be able to graph it. So I'm going to choose 0, 1, 2. And so I chose whatever I wanted to for y. And in my x column, if I look at my equation, I'm being told that x always equals -3. So in the x column, I'm going to fill in -3 for each one of these ordered pairs. Okay, let's graph this. So starting at the origin, I'm using -3, 0. Back at the origin, -3, 1. Back to the origin, -3, 2. And we see that these do line up to make that vertical line that we thought that it would be. Okay, so vertical if x equals a number. And the trick for this is if I look at x, the top of the x makes a V for vertical. Okay, so that's a little trick that you can use to help you. All right, and lastly, if we look at this and we're still thinking about being able to walk on something, I can walk on this slope. I just have no up or down, so that's 0. But I physically cannot walk on this slope. And we say that the slope of this line is undefined. The slope of this line is undefined. And again, that will go for any vertical line. Any vertical line that has the equation x equal a number has a slope that is undefined.